Are you a procrastinator? One of the big dream killers that we find is that a lot of people know exactly what to do, but they simply just don't do it. And I get it. There's so much distraction in today's world. But what that does is it pushes us farther and further away from the person and the life that we want to have and the things that we want to go out and do. In this episode, we are going to teach you 5 simple steps for laser-like focus.
Hey, we're Britt and Chris Carmichael, and you're listening to the Elevated Life Podcast. Throughout the 13 years we've been together, we've never ceased in our endless quest to better ourselves.
We've studied top experts, philosophers, and gurus. After years of personal self-experimentation, we found the tools for shifting your beliefs, moving through fears, and developing a positive mindset.
If you're ready for a breakthrough, then you're in the right place, because we're here to empower you to take control of your life with simple mindset shifts that create radical transformation.
We'll be diving into topics like personal growth, health, philosophy, spirituality, relationships, success, and mindfulness.
So create some space for yourself and get comfy. It's time to become the badass you were born to be. Okay, Chris and I have literally been sitting here for minutes talking about focus and why are people procrastinators and what's the difference that makes the difference in people actually getting up and going to do those things that they've set out for themselves, like going after their goals or knowing what their goals are and actually not doing them, even though they know what they are. And we're back and forth, and we looked at each other and we're like, oh my God, we need to be recording. So basically the conversation we're having is about focus and what it takes to stay laser-like focused even when there's so many distractions. And we all know that we have the tendency to procrastinate. And this is the conversation that we're having on why. Why are people procrastinating? Why are people having this problem with focus? I mean, obviously, we've got the internet and YouTube and Netflix and all the things that are quite distracting. It's like a society built for endless distractions. So what does it take to stay focused and create that concentration?
You know, it's funny. I think the most important thing that we do first is to look at what we say about ourselves. I think it's so important, and we always move away from that for some reason because we want some like other trick or we want some kind of secret or insight. But like how you define yourself and how you see yourself is literally everything. And so if you say, I'm a lazy person, I never get things done, and you say that over and over and over again, you're giving directives to your subconscious mind. And so you're going to continuously live out those directives. The only way for you to stop doing that is to come up with a plan for yourself that is able to carry you through so you can practice it enough times to where you stop saying those things. So if you constantly go in and say, I'm a procrastinator, guess what you're the most likely to do? Procrastinate. Because people who procrastinate don't finish things. Oftentimes they don't even get started. Or maybe it's because you say, I'm a perfectionist. And boom, you've limited yourself again. And so always on any of these topics that we cover, that we have these conversations about with you, it's about first deciding who you are going to be. I mean, who are you going to be this year? Who do you need to be to accomplish the goals and the dreams that you set out for yourself? Even if those goals are just to hang out, who do you need to be that? It's not a procrastinator. You have to be something new. And the way you always start being something new is by thinking of yourself in that way.
So today we're going to share 5 different ways that you can create focus in your life so that you can actually go after the goals that you really want to achieve in your life. So, and we've talked about goals a few episodes ago about how to set them, how to create that mindset to have the clarity on even knowing what you want. But the truth is goals just help you design your dream life. That's what we really talked about. And that's what I wanted to talk about today is how do you focus on those goals once you've set those goals for yourself? And that's really the first step. And that's prioritize what's important. If you haven't done that for yourself, whether it's the beginning of the month, the week, the year, whatever, it's so important for you to always be checking in with yourself using our 7 or above philosophy and saying, what's most important to me? And if you are new to the elevated life, the 7 or above philosophy is rating everything on a scale of 1 to 10. 1 being awful and 10 being absolutely amazing. And our philosophy in life is that you don't do anything above or below a 7.
Oh, it It's literally, it's the the best way to live. It is the best. What I find so many people doing is they play busy. It's like they just get in this realm of, hey, I'm going to play busy. And you ask them, what have you been up to? Oh man, I've been so busy. I've been so busy. Like, I don't want to know that. We're all busy. I want to know what you've been doing. Like, what have you accomplished? Like, what have you set out to do for yourself and then gone out and actually done it? Most people, it's very, very little. It's because they focus on tasks that are unimportant. So they say, man, I didn't procrastinate today. I got super focused. I did a bunch of things, but they're low value tasks. One of the worst things you can do for yourself is to specialize in things that don't bring you any value. It's horrible because you end up not getting any fruits of your labor and you feel burnout and you feel like you lack the energy to do the things that are important because it's all these crappy tasks that you don't need to be doing. Prioritizing what is important means what are those big things that really move the needle forward? That's where you want to be spending all of your time.
I think for me, the most helpful tool that I use to prioritize what's important not only is the 7 or above rule, like hashtag the Elevated Life Club is founded on that. But it's really about every morning I sit down and ask myself, what are the 3 things that I want to feel today? Like, how do I want to feel? And then what are the 3 projects that are most important or steps that I need to take? And this is the second step that we have for you on Focus, is creating an actionable plan, figuring out what is it that I need to do today, not tomorrow, not yesterday. What do I need to do today to help move the needle forward?
Yeah, and once you have that plan, the problem is most of us get into a step where we've now figured out what's important. We go, okay, for this year, I need to work out. I need to work on my physical body. Last year, it wasn't so good. I put on the quarantine weight. I'm looking at myself now. I'm like, what are we doing here? Like, we need to get back on that healthy train. So you need a plan. You don't want to show up into the gym not knowing what's going on. You have to have that actionable plan. Another big mistake people make with goals is they talk about what they want to be. Like, I want to be wealthy. And like, that's a goal, but that's not a goal because you can't take real action on that. What steps do you need to take to become wealthy? Like, what things would you do each day? Is it saving? Is it maybe having a side hustle? Is it investing in something specific? You have to have the plan so you know what action to take. Otherwise, you show up to the dance empty-handed and you stay there confused. And in that confusion and frustration, you procrastinate. And so if you know what is important for you and you know what the steps you need to take to make that happen, you know what those steps are, then you now are able to start. That is the starting line.
That's why I love the Elevated Life Club so much, because you and I over the last decade plus have been messily figuring this stuff out and like researching and experimenting and trying all these things. And now we've found the step-by-step method in so many different areas. We've found like the golden nuggets that have made the biggest difference in our life. And that's exactly why I think it's so important for people to have a space like the Elevated Life Club so they can access those step-by-step plans without having to second guess themselves, without having to procrastinate. The accountability's there with our elevators and our community and, our live masterclasses. I just think it's so important for people who are like, I find myself procrastinating, or I find myself like figuring out my goals, not even knowing what my goals are. One, there's like a couple of groups of people. Then once I know my goals, I don't know what to do with them. I need that actionable step. I need the framework. I need the help. Or it could be the accountability. And, that's really why I think joining something like the Elevated Life Club will help people to really 1, figure out what they want, 2, have the courage to go after it, and 3, stick to it, because it does get tough in pursuing your goals. And that's why focus can be broken so quickly.
Yeah. And, you're talking about something that's really important. And what we're really saying here is the mindset of everything is so important. Because once you have the framework and everything, you have to have the right mindset. You have to start in the right frame. And not just what we talked about in the beginning, where we're visualizing ourselves as it's possible and not seeing ourselves anymore as a procrastinator or lazy or whatever we may have been called in the past, a failure, or we don't deserve it. But now we're getting into the part where you have to have that mindset that will allow you to carry through daily. That's why we do podcasts, and that's why we do the monthly live masterclasses, because we need that like shot of adrenaline again. A lot of us get sidetracked. That's why people hire motivational coaches. Like, why would anybody need a coach? It's because they want to succeed. Like that's the real reason why. It's because you have to have somebody that comes in and smacks you around a little bit and says, hey, quit effing off. You are talented and can do this. You just need to quit dicking around a little bit. And so one of the things we have to talk about here is starting off in the right frame of mind on your daily tasks. So it's not just enough to visualize yourself and know like, hey, I can do this, because you can do anything. But it's also to take a brief pause. What we end up doing so often is we do task swapping. And so we go from task to task to task. We look at like this laundry list of to-dos that we have, and then we just go ding, 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 and there's no pause in between them. And a lot of times the things that are our really big dreams, we have to have a different physiology about it. We have to have that power stance or that victory stance. We have to feel it inside of ourselves. It's not the same energy we bring to vacuuming. It's not what you need to do to go check the mail. It's something entirely different. So before I get started on that, one of those important things is I get myself in the right mindset. I prime myself for the success that I know I need to make it happen. That way I can carry through, and that way I feel good while I do it. A lot of people are unmotivated because the things that they're doing, for one, they hate, but they don't get themselves in the right state first, and so it doesn't seem fun. Fun people finish what they're doing. If they're having fun doing it, it's easy to carry out. But if you're just angry and upset, and I hate doing this, and you say that to yourself the whole time, guess how long it's going to last? And then you're going to say it again. Well, I guess I'm just a procrastinator. No, you didn't like it. So prime yourself first. Take a moment, take a pause, get your mindset right, let your fears go away, let criticisms go away, let your mind just totally blank, and then get in the zone.
And remember your why. That's how you get into the zone. You remember why you're doing the thing that you're doing. What was that ultimate motivator that made you decide that this was a goal or this is a project that I want to work on? And when I remember my why, when I remember all the elevators, people tuning in and listening, I'm just like, yes, yes, yes. This is exactly what I need to be able to just to follow through, to say the things that you say you're going to do. And I think that really, like you said, priming yourself helps you to eliminate the negative stories that you tell yourself, because that's ultimately what is the thing that makes the difference in people that are procrastinating and people that are saying, you know what, fuck it, I'm going to do it anyway. I may mess up. I may not know what I may not get it right. I may look silly doing this, but I'm going to do it anyway.
You mentioned that, and it made me think of, you can do it two ways. So one of the ways to do it is obviously to visualize yourself successful. That's one thing you can do. But you can also visualize what it would cost you if you didn't do it. And this is something that I did as a little kid to make me brush my teeth, floss my teeth, water pick, do all the things. And so my dad had horrible hygiene. I assume like dentists and insurance weren't a thing when he was growing up. I don't know. But he would smile at me this one way, and I locked that image into my head, and it was not the kind of smile that you necessarily want. And having that picture in my head of what it would cost me if I didn't do it, I saw that picture every time I told myself, nah, I'm in bed already, I'm cozy, I don't want to brush my teeth tonight. And then boom, that picture would flash, and I would not only get up out of bed, I would jump up and sprint into the bathroom, and I'd be happy about it too. I'm thinking, look at these pearly whites. And so you can use both methods. Figure out what it looks like for you to be successful. What do you look like as that success when you accomplish what you're doing? And what does it cost you if you don't do it?
Oh, that is so powerful. I also am visualizing you with the same kind of enthusiasm you do to like record our elevated life, like live when we're doing our live masterclasses. I'm imagining that level of enthusiasm while you're doing the dishes and vacuuming, because you kind of made me laugh, but also put it into a great perspective about, you do need a different kind of energy and physiology to perform different tasks from doing the laundry or writing that first chapter in that book. It's really important to get yourself in that right frame of mind. And I think you gave the perfect technique on, visualizing what that will look like with or without, and both, whatever side of the coin you're on, they're both motivating. Yeah,
they're both, to me, they're both just as powerful. A lot of us, pull to move away from something that's painful is stronger, but you have to figure out what that is for you. It's different for everybody, but a lot of us move away from pain faster than we move toward pleasure. So think about that. Think about what it's going to cost you if you don't focus. What is it going to cost you if you're going to stay undisciplined? What's it going to cost you if you're going to be distracted this year? What it's going to cost you is you're going to come around next year and look at the exact same goals and realize that nothing happened, but it could have. It could have with not a ton of work. A lot of times we think that things are so terrible. There's times where I don't shower at night. I'm like, nah, I'm not going to get in that shower. Or today I'm not going to go to the gym. I'm just not going to do it today. And then once I actually get there, once I sort of force myself to get there, I love it. I love it. And I always think, why did I not want to do this? Why did I not want to get on my yoga mat? Why did I not want to make that phone call? Why did I not want to reach out to that client who's been begging me for a session or to work with me? Why am I not doing that? So you just have to start doing a little bit of it. You just test it a little bit. Just get in there and say, you know what? I'm going to do just 1 or 2 things today. And the goal, one of the rules we have at our house, if it takes less than 2 minutes, you have to do it immediately.
I was just thinking that.
You
so
have
glad
to.
You shared that.
Because most things just take a couple of minutes. It's not always this long, hard process. And there's a, what is this saying that's if you take it by the yard, everything's hard. If you take it inch by inch, everything's a cinch.
Oh my God, that's so cute.
And it's so true. When we think it is overwhelming, I get in the gym I got to be in there for an hour and a half. It sounds daunting, but shit, you can get a good workout in 15 minutes if you're moving your ass. And so make sure that you're not overcomplicating the small things. Keep that in mind.
Oh, so good. All right. The next tip is to do the most important thing first. So many times we'll have this list of 10 things on our, for our to do, and we'll do all the things that will, I can do that quick and I can check that off because you want to feel accomplished. But what will really make you feel accomplished is if you prioritize, going back to our first tip, what is important. And then like Brian Tracy says, eat that frog. Do the thing that is most important first, because not only do you have the most energy at the start of the day and you don't burn it out on buying groceries and making menial decisions, do that thing that is important first so that you can use all the energy that you have to put towards the thing that makes the biggest difference in your life.
Oh my gosh, decision fatigue is such a thing, and I am one of those people. I cannot make it. I can't make it. Britt can make it.
So true.
Okay, listen, Britt can.
I'm the most indecisive, and you have decision fatigue. It's a bad combination.
Britt asks me 4,000 questions an hour. I mean, no exaggeration, right? It's 4,000 questions. And I have to flip through my Rolodex of experiences and possible thoughts and what might work, what might be practical. I can't do that. And you can't do it either. You cannot afford to do that. So every time you make a to-do list or every time you're looking at what you need to do for the day, it's got to be the important thing first. You cannot focus on the small tasks because you will get decision fatigue and you will lack that energy that is so powerful that allows you to just do that thing immediately. I mean, think about it, especially when you're working out and stuff, you want to do the body part that's important first. You got to use your energy while you've got it. That's why for me, I really like doing everything in the morning. The second that I wake up, I can get more done with a silent 2 hours than I can do in 3 work days.
Hey, thanks a lot. That's because I'm asleep.
It is absolutely. It's because she's not asking me questions. Look, and if you have a person that's distracting you all the damn time, you got to tell them, shh.
Oh, we should tell them our ding ding rule.
It's a secret. This is a big secret, and it works really well for our entire relationship. Not just the fact that we also work together, but what we do is if you want to interrupt the other person while they're doing anything that doesn't involve you, you have to say ding ding first. Ding ding.
So good for kids too.
It's like a little bells going off because it takes over 20 minutes. I've read a study that it takes over 20 minutes once you get distracted to get back into the flow. And so if you've been over here and you got your prioritized list that's really smart and you know what your important thing is to do and you got in the right mental frame, you're really just cranking it now. And then here comes this person nonstop asking you stuff.
This one or this one?
Oh, boy.
You like pink or purple?
Miss every 30 seconds. It's every 30 seconds, woman.
You love me, right?
That's why the days where Britt is at the salon during the week, I can crush it. I mean, I can get everything done. But listen, I love Britt, and I love that she is spontaneous.
Ding ding. Okay, keep telling our listeners how much you love me.
See, I'm already out of focus now. I can't even focus on what I was trying to say.
Oh my gosh. All right, then I'll bring it back.
Hold on, but for real, for focus, you got to remove the distractions. It's so important. It is so, get some noise.
Even if they're cute.
Listen, I use noise canceling headphones.
He
right?
really does. He does. I have to tap him and say ding ding.
She still taps me even though she sees the headphones
Oh my
on.
gosh. Anyway, I'll bring it back. Our fifth and final tip for you on focus today. And, we talked a lot about like, well, what's that technique? And we've shared a few more than we even didn't bring to mind in this conversation that has come spontaneously, probably because the ding ding. But the last thing we're really trying to decide, what is that thing? Is it focusing on a candle? Is it meditation? Like, what's that thing? And ultimately it boiled down to something so simple that we all can do. Set a timer. When you set a timer, it not only like gets your gears going, like lights a fire, like, oh shit, I gotta go, I gotta focus. We set a 50-minute timer, a Pomodoro timer. It's usually 25 minutes, but we increase it to 50 because
the Carmichael timer.
It's it's updated. It's the Carmichael timer. 50 minutes of working straight, focused, with a 10-minute break. That way you block your hours off with knowing that, okay, I have this major task that I'm going to work on for 50 minutes, and maybe it doesn't take that long. Then that's great. Then you can celebrate, take a deep breath, like go outside, get some fresh air, some sunlight, come back, and then move into the next task. We need to celebrate and take time, like those pauses Chris talked about. One of the lessons I teach in Shine School is all about celebrating the small wins. And that's literally every time you check off something on your to-do list. So take that moment to pause and celebrate. But ultimately, setting a timer is going to get your butt in gear and make you feel like, oh shit, like the time is now. Instead of going, if you don't set a timer, then I guarantee you're going to wander around and fiddle fart with this and check your phone and scroll for 15 minutes. And meanwhile, you're like, oh shit, I got to go pick up the kids. And how did that 30 minutes just go by? But you could have done that thing that was most important to do. But if you set a timer, it makes the biggest difference.
And this is something that we really learned, in school. All my classes in school went with this exact same time period. 50-minute classes, then we had a break. And because every class that I had was in a different building, we had to leave that class, pack up our bags, and then walk across campus to somewhere else. And so it gave that mental break, but it also gave you the opportunity to switch gears, because you're trying to do physics in one thing and you're trying to do, English in another. It's like a different part of you. You're trying to do art next. It's like all these different parts that you're trying to combine. But with the break in there, you got enough out of one to get into the other. And while I'm talking about this, one of the things that's really important is to divide up your work day and your home life, and to have a pause break between the two, even if it's not driving. Since we've been in quarantine and stuff, Britt and I have been in the same room a lot lately, and so just for me to walk away for a minute and just kind of be alone, just spend a couple times, and then ask myself what do I need to bring Britt tonight to really up-level our relationship? What could I help her with? How can I support her in a non-work way, as I've already done that all day? How can I support her now that it's home? How can I be her friend? How can I be her ear? What do I need to do? And just asking myself those quick questions and just taking a moment to pause, not really come up with the answer, but allow myself to just intuitively know what that answer is and let that lead the night, gives us a different night. And so it gives us a better relationship. We're not arguing. We're not fighting. And it's because we take those little pauses. They're so important in our lives. And we think a lot of times that just rushing is the answer because we'll get there faster. But that's not how it happens. You get there slower. You run out of gas. If you clog your foot on the gas pedal the whole time, you run out of gas quick. It's that steady cruise that you can do. And so it's like move, pause, and being able to do that continuously. And having a partner that does it too, man, it allows us to get along so much, even when times are stressful, even when things aren't going right, even when technology breaks for us. It just allows us to move in and out of our lives without trampling each other and, saying things that you don't really mean, but you get in that angry or frustrated moment and it just kind of comes out.
I love it. It's really been beautiful to navigate this new dynamic of being at home so much this past year. I appreciate being able to change gears and shift roles and take off hats and, lead or support or, just being able to swap back and forth. So I appreciate that. And it's been so fun being able to start this podcast. Oh man, it's all we're coming up on I don't know, like 40 episodes or something. That's so exciting. I just am so grateful for everyone who's listened. If you are someone who is feeling like moved by this message and you know you need that accountability, that support, that step-by-step plan, then come join us in the Elevated Life Club, because this month we're talking all about living your best life and creating your best year. This really is, where focus meets the road, of action steps and holding yourself accountable to really saying doing what you say you're going to do. We all set these goals and resolutions, and as we've learned, they fail pretty quickly. 80% of people don't even make it to February. And so we wanted to make sure that we gave you the right opportunity to make your goals actually happen, have the clarity that you need to figure out what you want and what direction you want to take your life in, and have that community that supports you and believes that it's possible for you.
Yeah, and I want to tell you that if you're able to prioritize what's important in your life and then discipline yourself to work on the most important of those first, and do not multitask, do not train your brain to multitask. If you spend the time only working on that thing until it's complete, you will blow yourself away this year. You will absolutely wake up at the end of the year and go, I cannot believe this happened for me. I literally cannot believe it. This is amazing. But it's something that you're going to have to be doing every day. And we have outlined simple steps for you today to be able to do that. And when you realize the power that you have, when you are not distracted, when you're no longer procrastinating, and when you're just going after the things that are important to you, your whole life will change. How people perceive you will change. What shows up as far as opportunities go will change. Everything will change. But it's going to take focus. It's going to take reprogramming your mind to start doing the things that you know you really need to do, the things that are really important, the things that will really help you. I want to see you have your dreams accomplished. I want to see you there. I know you can do it. Let this be that year that you really do it.
I'm so excited. They say what you focus on expands. So make sure you are keeping the good stuff at the forefront of your mind. And we hope to see you inside the club. We are so excited about starting off this new year on the right foot. After all the enlightening lessons of last year, I think this is going to be a really good opportunity to start fresh. And we can't wait to support you all year long. We'll see you soon. Peace. Thanks so much for tuning in to the Elevated Life Podcast. Want more? Join us at theelevatedlifeclub.com for mindset upgrades, lifestyle hacks, and spiritual tools to elevate your soul.
Each month features a new masterclass, meditation, yoga practice, and more to help you transform your life one step at a time.
Come join the 7 or Above Club.